Do not go through your man's phone. No, no, no. Now, I ain't saying it like I ain't did this shit before, because I have. Story time! My ex-husband used to take my phone whenever the fuck he wanted to, and he did not give it back until he was satisfied. And instead of admitting that he was an insecure, cheating ass bitch, he just said that there were no secrets in our relationship, and he paid the bill. And he encouraged me to look through his phone too, to see that I could trust him. Like, that's some shit that people do when they trust each other. But whatever. So the first time I take him up on his offer is right before we moved to Georgia. Like, right before. Half the apartment was on the U-Haul and the other half was on the curb. Then Miss Taurus Moon in the 12th house over here had another prophetic dream. And it was inconvenient as fuck. I had a dream that I went through my ex-husband's phone and saw him exchanging explicit messages with a girl on Instagram. And guess what the fuck happened next? I woke up the next morning and went through his phone, and he was messaging a girl on Instagram about how he wanted to fuck her. And I still had the nerve to be surprised. And if I had the standards, expectations, and boundaries I have now, that would have been the end of our relationship. But I was drinking a Kool-Aid. Nobody's perfect, and he loves me and these kids. So I forgave him and gave him another opportunity to cheat like most black women. And he did what most cishet black men do. Ain't nobody blaming nobody over here, okay? We were just playing our respective roles. Now, the second time I went through his phone was a little more interesting. And now I know for sure this is going to be a 2-part video, and part 2 is coming up soon. But the second time I went through his phone, I saw the same girl from the first time. We'll just call her Denise, because that's what the fuck her name is. Hey, girl. But the shit was like Groundhog's Day. But my ex-husband responded differently this time. So the first time he was apologetic and it was a mistake, but this time I was just tripping and I was looking for something. They didn't actually fuck, they was just talking about doing it. So it wasn't really cheating. Cause you know they like to change the definition of some shit to fit their narrative. But my ex-husband told me that it wasn't a big deal and anybody could see that. So I decided to test his theory. And I find Denise on Facebook. Then I discovered that she's engaged and she has children around the same age as the twins. They just 2 trifling ass cheating peas in a pod. That's also when I discovered that married people are really fucking gross. And married people just cheat with each other, but that's a whole nother story. But Denise has a fiance. And I'm curious if he thinks I'm overreacting too. But I couldn't find his Facebook page. So I Googled his name and found his work email address. And I sent him a really short message. I apologized to him in advance and just let him know that I'm a wife that found Denise in her husband's inbox. And because my husband is a fucking liar, I will never know if he actually fucked Denise or not. And I added their messages as an attachment. Also, my husband does not like condoms. So to be safe, he might want to wrap it up when he get home. And her fiance is grateful. He thanks me. He didn't call me crazy or insecure like my ex-husband at all. And 2 days later, my ex-husband calls me because Denise called him crying. And I don't give a fuck. But the third time I went through my ex-husband's phone scarred me for life. I never looked at him the same again. Now, the third time I went through my ex-husband's phone, I couldn't handle it. I'm saying this the third time, but it wasn't the third time. But it was the last time. I don't need to see shit else. But this is how it happened. So we sitting on the couch watching TV, got our phones in our hands. And I guess I'm looking a little too interested in what I got going on. So my ex-husband needs my phone immediately. So I give him my phone and pick up his phone. I was just Googling some shit, but now I can continue my search. So I open up a new tab on his phone and I can see all the other tabs that he has open. And a couple of them stand out to me because it's people fucking. It's porn. Now, I am not the type of woman who is offended if her man looks at porn. I look at it sometimes, but I want to know what he's getting off to. And the category is daddy, daughter. Now, I consider myself to be very open-minded, and I try my best not to ew anybody's ooh. But as the mother of his daughter, I was deeply fucking disturbed. And his eldest child is also a girl. He's a girl dad. And you getting off on incest? I can't even think straight. I give him his phone back, I run to the bathroom, and I just start crying in a towel. I don't even know how to start this conversation. But I go back to the living room and stand in front of him and just start saying some shit. I think I asked him directly if he wanted to, and he was just like, what the fuck? Still not making eye contact with me though. I'm literally standing in between him and the TV. And I just said some off the wall shit about him being intimate with his own children. And he's still not fucking looking at me. And I get loud, but I'm screaming and I'm crying and my throat is doing like this. So I don't even know what the fuck I sound like. And I can't even remember the whole conversation. But I do remember that he didn't say much. He just rolls his eyes and stared intently at the commercials. Because this is only a big deal to me, not him. So he rolls his eyes and shrugs his shoulders. And he says 2 words that, to him, shuts this whole thing down. They're actors. That's it. They're actors. So no, he didn't want to have sex with his daughters. And 2, they're actors. And he never answers my other questions. Like, when did you start watching daddy-daughter porn? Is incest appealing to you because you don't know your biological family? Do you watch father-son too? Is this something you want to act on? Are you getting off on it being really taboo? Did you experience sexual abuse as a child? Are you sure you don't want to go to therapy? This shit is fucking disgusting. How the fuck would you feel right now if you looked at my phone and saw porn with a mom with her twin sons? Don't you think that would be really fucking gross considering the fact that I have twin sons? In a nutshell, I guess he just let me vent. He didn't say anything else. And that killed any curiosity I might have for any other men in my life. You can't pay me to go through a man's phone. Now, if I feel like something is off, it is. And we need to be able to talk about it. And if we can't, we're done. It's too easy. So let's talk about it because I really want to have the conversation. Obviously, I wanted to have the conversation with my ex-husband, but he didn't want to, so we didn't. But I think the most convenient answer is exactly what you said. It's just porn. But choosing what was more convenient or palatable so I could hold on to a belief about my ex-husband or even myself is kind of what got me in this situation. And at this point in the game, I was no longer ignoring my gut or rationalizing his behavior because what I was seeing was challenging what I thought I already knew. Ultimately, I decided that I matter, and my ex-husband is not the standard by which I judge myself. So I didn't go overboard. To me, I just reacted as he reacted. We just had different reactions, and that's okay. Now, moving forward from that, is it just porn? Because the way my brain is wired, it's a little difficult for me to believe that. One of the things that makes that so gross for me is that I know a lot of women who have been victims of sexual abuse by men in their families in real life. Some of my closest friends and family members have been SA'd by their dads and stepdads and mom's boyfriends and grandpas and daddies and uncles and cousins. So I can't turn that part of my brain off and just get swept up in the erotica. It's the same with the daddy-daughter thing. I real life have a daughter, and I would kill and go to jail behind her. So my baby can't be a part of nobody's daddy-daughter fantasy because I see myself real life. So it's always going to be deeper for me. What you find attractive and put your emotional and mental and physical energy into, it's significant. To me, it might not be that deep for you, and it might not be that deep for other people. But I'm curious. This was just one of those conversations that was really uncomfortable for me to have with people that I knew intimately, especially considering that I was married at the time. So the way that it worked out, I ended up telling the whole fucking world via TikTok before I talked to people that I know in real life about it. So here we are. So let's learn together what your favorite genre of porn says about you, if it means anything at all. Are you still emotionally invested in my story and want to know all about my divorce? God bless you. Thanks for your patience and put on a seatbelt. It's a fucking roller coaster. So this story starts in May of 2018. It's our 1-year anniversary. My ex-husband gives me a cute little blue bag and inside it's Tiffany circlet earrings. Ooh. We go out for a dinner of fried lobster tail and cheesecake and my ex-husband wants me to post this shit to show how good he treats me. We go back home and have obligatory sex. And a few weeks later, I discover he gave me something else. Trichomoniasis. Gift that keeps fucking giving. Oh, and I'm pregnant. What the fuck? I can't be pregnant right now. I'm trying to leave this motherfucker. And I just started a new job to make that transition a little easier. But the pregnancy is confirmed first. The cultures come back about 2 or 3 days later. My ex-husband is excited about the baby and he hopes it's a boy. And when I tell him that I have an STD, he just wants to know which one. Is it curable? You can't die from it, right? After I explain trick to him, he's fine. He doesn't even know why I'm mad. And when I explained to him that he had to be playing in some dirty pussy for him to give it to me, now he doesn't know what I'm talking about. And that's the end of the discussion. Or so he fucking thought. Cause bitch, if you really ain't know what the fuck I was talking about, you might be mad. You might have a question why your wife has an STD. You might want to know who I was fucking around with. You might feel betrayed. You keep saying you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but you're acting like you do. How the fuck wouldn't you just say sorry? I expected him to try to kiss my ass and beg for forgiveness. Spoiler alert, it never happens. But eventually he texts me, sorry. And after a while, he admits that he cheated. No shit. For the last time, I asked him if he wants to go to therapy. Because I've been asking to go to therapy since I met this man. And he always told me no because I was the only one with the problem. He was fine. Now that he can't deny that everything's perfect because happy men don't cheat, maybe we can get professional help. And he says no, like he did every time. He just wants a divorce. And around this time, I ended up losing my job due to attendance. I worked in dialysis, and when your shift starts at 4 a.m., it's really hard finding a reliable babysitter to come at 3:30. So now I'm unemployed, pregnant, and about to be divorced. And I fall into a depression. And I keep the divorce and the pregnancy a secret. I'm really fucking embarrassed, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. So in September of 2018, we go to mediation together. I want this divorce to be quick and easy. We already know why the fuck we're there, and we don't need nobody to tell us how to take care of our kids. So in mediation, I decide that I don't want spousal support or alimony. Let's decide on a support amount and be done with this shit. Then I start to think that maybe my ex-husband feels bad, because now he wants to add all of the bills and all of the expected expenses for the new baby to the monthly child support amount. Interesting. Is he paying me for my pain? Well, all right then. So we sign the documents and go to lunch together. And now he has regrets. Follow me for part 2. Now, where were we? Right, mediation. So in mediation, there's a slight hiccup. Apparently, according to Georgia law, married fathers have certain parental rights that unmarried fathers don't. So we agree to wait until after the baby is born to file the paperwork. And that's a huge fucking inconvenience for me. It's September and I'm due January 31st. I have no job and no proof of income to get approved for a place. And before all this shit started, the house was already packed up. We already had plans to move and the lease was up at the end of the month. So we come up with an agreement. My ex-husband is going to start paying me the child support now. And he's going to put his name on the lease so I can get approved for the place that I want. He'll sleep in the guest bedroom downstairs when he comes to visit. And from the outside looking in, everything will look normal. Because at this point, I can count on one hand how many people I've told about the divorce, pregnancy, or the cheating. So I find the perfect house. My ex-husband starts paying me the child support, and I use that money to move in. Now, I don't even have furniture when I move into this place because I don't want shit that reminds me of him. And the way it worked out, my ex-husband's best friend and his girlfriend and their daughter are going to move into our old place. So I'll leave them the couch, the dining room table, all of that shit. And I'm telling you this because it's relevant. My ex-husband takes our old bedroom set for himself. I'm just happy to start over fresh. And my new place has a big yard with a tall privacy fence. So he's even willing to give me our Mastiff back. Cool. So in December, I finally start telling my family that I'm going to have a baby next month, which starts to put up some red flags for some. But whatever, I'm grown. So February comes, I have the baby. My ex-husband almost dies. I told you that story. And he gets better just in time for his trip to Colombia in March. Now, this is the part where I let y'all in on a little secret. Now, you know they say you lose them how you get them, right? And I met my ex-husband online. And I learned that this man never stopped online dating. Now that we're separated, I don't give a fuck. To make a long story short, I had friends in high places that were checking up on that ass and collecting evidence for me in case I needed the shit for court, which is exactly what the fuck happened. So I knew my ex-husband was paying for a membership to Latin American Cupid so he could have some pussy waiting on him when he got to Medellin. But I just ain't say shit, because I don't fucking care. I'm literally repulsed by his ass. We hadn't had sexual contact of any kind since I got pregnant on our anniversary. And every time he put that big ass uncircumcised dick in my face, rejected. So the morning of his trip, we get into a huge fight. He's gone through my phone like he's been doing since day fucking one when he started paying the bill. And this time I was actually talking to somebody. So he starts calling me community pussy. He hates me. He goes off. It's almost like he didn't fucking cheat on me, give me an STD, and decided that he wanted to fucking divorce me when I confronted him. He been talking to bitches before, during, and after our marriage. But you mad at me for having very innocent conversation with another man about you? All right. So my ex-husband flies to Colombia, and the next morning I get a call from my mom. She wants to know what the fuck is going on. Apparently, asshole done called her so she could help him pick out shit for me in the leather store in Medellin. She want to know why the fuck can't he just call me? Part 3 coming up soon. So now I have to briefly catch my mom up to speed, without mentioning a girlfriend, of course. Because nobody thought it made sense for him to leave his wife and 4 kids under 4 for a whole fucking month to learn Spanish in fucking Colombia. Especially considering the fact that we were learning Spanish remotely as a family. My folks thought he was there for drugs, but I knew he was there for pussy, and I did not want to have that conversation. So after I get these beautiful fucking handbags and the most gorgeous red slingback leather heels in my fucking life. Thanks, Mom. Even though I got rid of all of it, my ex-husband wants to know if I still am going to file the paperwork. And I tell him yes, of course. Direct deposit is already set up in the mediated agreement. And because my ex-husband is already paying me the money, we were supposed to be on the same page as to when I actually filed the paperwork. He actually seemed surprised that I'm going along with our plan. And just like that, he goes from, "Dang, man, you really not gonna fight for us?" to, "You ain't what I want no way, man. I want somebody that's bisexual so we can have fun. I want to have threesomes, just travel. Go ahead and file the papers." So I'm happy as fuck. And at first, I was feeling really fucked up. It's May of 2019. And instead of celebrating our 2-year anniversary, I'm alone in a house healing from just having a new baby. And my ex-husband is out playing in some pussy on vacation. But I feel lighter. My ex-husband comes back from his trip and he's pissed off at me. He tells me I'm not family. I'm not his friend. He don't want to co-parent with me. He will never fuck with me on no level ever again in his life. Apparently, he was listening to my conversations and he didn't like what I had to say. Ever since I almost shot my ex-husband because he was sneaking around the fucking house, he had surveillance installed on the outside and the inside of the home. And I've been living under 24-hour surveillance ever since. And I also mentioned that my ex-husband blocked me from his social media accounts. I would feel really disrespected when he shared certain posts about fucking other women. But that made me the problem. So he would keep talking about fucking other women, but I couldn't see it. But he fucked up. He forgot to block my aunt in California. So when she sees him in Colombia with another woman, she gives me a call. Now I had to catch her up. So now the cat was out the bag. So my ex-husband asked me for his social security card and his birth certificate, the copy of our life insurance policy. He gives me a fucking handshake and leaves. Before he left, my ex-husband told me I was a stupid bitch for leaving him for cheating. Because all I was going to do was get with somebody else and they were going to cheat on me too. But I told him at least the next nigga that cheated on me would be able to make me come. And at that point, I hadn't had sex in 12 months. So that dude I was texting in March, he came to the house bringing Tito's and snacks. We watched the Game of Thrones finale together and he out of me. Baby! And we still cool to this day. But the next morning, I get a phone call. It's my ex-husband, who already fucking hates me. Now he extra hates me. Because he saw a bald-headed black man with a beard pull up in a BMW to the house. He keeps saying he don't give a fuck what I do. I ain't his bitch. But he ain't figured out how to act like he don't give a fuck. And the next part is when shit really gets crazy. So my ex-husband tells me he has something really important to say. But he has to look me in my eyes when he says it. I know this is going to be good. Him? Eye contact? So when he calls me, I immediately start screen recording. He got everybody fooled but me. And I know it's going to come down to my word versus his. When he calls me, I'm breastfeeding our baby. And he tells me to stop looking at the baby. Look at the camera. And that's when he lets me know he has a girlfriend in Colombia. He's going to have threesomes with her. And they're going to get married. And he was fucking her the whole time he was in Colombia. He already got a new bitch. He was posting his new bitch all over Snapchat. And every fucking person on Snapchat messaged him and said she looked better than me. What did I think about that? Bruh, I'll let his ass have it. Bitch, the last time I fucked you, you made my pussy itch and you didn't make me come. And when I think about fucking you, I want to throw up. How the fuck you gonna make me jealous over some diseased ass dick I rejected for 12 months straight? I've been knowing about your bitch for months. And I feel sorry for her ass because she ain't gonna do shit but get tortured by you. But I don't want you or your dirty dick in real life. I didn't see a point in wasting my time even confronting you about the shit. Ain't she an Aries? Well, congratulations. Don't think for a second she don't know that you a stupid gringo. And if you treat her ass like you treated me, you might end up chopped up some fucking where. You are a horrible fucking husband, a sorry ass excuse for a father, because you're a shit fucking person. You are a horrible human. I hate myself for being with you. You ain't gonna be shit no matter where the fuck you go or how much money you have. Cause you don't have a fucking soul. You had a wife that never told you no, and that made you think you the shit. You and those twins were supposed to be my gift from God. You ended up being a fucking nightmare. I don't give a fuck that you hate me. You're fucking evil. Why would I want you to like me? Your only redeeming quality is that you pay bills. And you're 6'2". Fuck you. Leave me the fuck alone and not care about me for real. You a literate fucking ogre. And that's when he tells me I'll never get a dime from him. He sold the Mercedes so he could buy a house in Colombia. He's been planning this shit for months. And I better find a place for me and the kids to go. Because he's getting us kicked out of the house today. And he's going to get the truck that he bought me repossessed. I need to figure out a place for me and the kids to go. Okay, bye. And he makes good on his promise. He hires a lawyer to dismiss our mediated agreement. He does get the truck repossessed. He does stop giving me money. Utilities start getting cut off. And he calls the agent of the landlord and asks him to evict us immediately. But before then, he calls somebody else. Remember his best friend and his girlfriend that moved into our old house? After our argument, I immediately unplug all of the cameras, doorbell included, and the friend's girlfriend gives me a call. Now, since she moved here in October, me and her have been getting pretty tight. She lives in my old house. I even give her the female Rottweiler I ended up with. I hook her up with a job at my kid's daycare, and I know firsthand how it feels to be alone in that house and not know anybody. So she calls and tells me her boyfriend is on the way to my house. No, the fuck he ain't. Follow me for the next part. When I tell you if I ever see this bitch that's on site, let me tell you why. After she texts me and let me know her baby daddy coming, I give her a phone call. And I tell her friend, if he show the fuck up, Cobb County Police gonna be waiting on his ass. Asshole don't want shit from this house. I know you don't know everything, so let me catch you up real quick. Me and Asshole been separated for about a year. Around this time last year, he got me pregnant, and when I went to the doctor, I discovered that he got me an STD from cheating with prostitutes. Now he got a girlfriend in Colombia, and he mad that I don't give a fuck. And he mad as fuck I got some good ass dick from a man with a full beard, and he not man enough to fucking grow one. I know they best friends, but tell him not to get in the middle of this shit. I let Asshole cuss me out for 40 fucking minutes today, just so I could record this shit and show everybody who the fuck he is. He already called the landlord and asked him to put me and his fucking 4 kids out on the street. And he not gonna fucking do it. In fact, he told Asshole to just go ahead and pay 70% of what's due from the lease so he could take his name off. And me and these kids gonna be sitting right here in this fucking house until that money runs out. So now Asshole is sending your baby daddy over here on the fucking dummy mission because I unplugged the fucking cameras. The rest of the day is a blur. And the next morning I get a call from my mom. Hey, Ken, is everything okay? No, Mom, it's not. Well, you want to talk about it? No, I don't want to talk. Well, you know there's resources to help you. Resources? What are you talking about? Asshole called me this morning and told me what's going on. What did he tell you, Mom? Well, I don't believe it. But he said you made threats to kill yourself and the kids because he doesn't want to be with you anymore. Mom, please stop talking to him immediately. I'm having this conversation with my mother in front of the kids' daycare. You know, the one I got my ex-husband's best friend's girlfriend to work at? Yeah. So at this point, I have my vehicle full of valuables. Clothes, instruments, and my 9mm. Because I need to sell this shit to lawyer up. So the girlfriend comes and tells me she's sorry, she didn't know everything that was going on. I got some real cute clothes in the cart. What size shoe do I wear? What size dress is that? Turns out we're the same size, even though I'm 6 inches taller. And I tell her, you know what? Take this shit. Take all of it. They not gonna give me no real money at Plato's Closet anyway. And if they don't like this shit, I have to bring it all back anyways. So my mom's like, who is that? And bitch, I'ma say your name. On site. Saida. So I'm like, Mom, it's Saida. It's fine. She's cool. And my mom's like, no, she ain't. When Asshole called me, he said he was at her house. He was there this morning. Oh, that's when I realized I could really kill him. My conscience would be clear. I should have shot this motherfucker years ago. I should have let him die months ago. I would not feel bad. I would be doing the world a favor. So I drive to the pawn shop to sell my 9mm. Because I've never been that fucking mad in my life. And on the way to the pawn shop, the agent of the landlord lets me know that Asshole isn't going to pay the 70% of the lease. So he has to move forward with the eviction process. Confirming that I did need to fucking sell my weapon. Because I would be sharing this story from prison. So I never get to beat the brakes off that snake-ass bitch Saida. But karma comes for her sooner than we both expect. Guess whose baby daddy leaves them broken destitute? Within the next 2 weeks, she and her daughter are on their way to Connecticut to move in with her mom. But now I'm getting evicted. And that's when I decide to return home to St. Louis. But first, I hire a divorce attorney. And that's when I discover, according to Georgia law, when you have an active divorce case, you can't fucking take the kids out of state. Not unless you notify the other parent in writing first. And you get their permission, and you have to give them the address of where the kids are sleeping. And even then, it's only for a maximum of 2 weeks. Meanwhile, Asshole goes on a smear campaign. Suddenly, I'm receiving phone calls and text messages from very concerned battle buddies, friends, family members, former co-workers, whoever the fuck, after they receive a very strange message from my husband. That's when I realized something. My silence is being used against me. Asshole gets to control the narrative because I kept quiet. I'm still keeping quiet. I'm just trying to keep my sanity. But the truth will shut all this shit down. I don't really give a fuck about public opinion. I need a practical solution. I'm stuck in Georgia in this fucking house that his name is on the fucking lease of with no weapon. As far as I'm concerned, it's a recipe for disaster. And that's when I come to the realization I need an adult. So I call Asshole's favorite aunt for help. And I tell her I know she's going to side with him. But I need somebody around here to witness this shit. Because I feel like if somebody else other than me saw the truth about him, he would pipe the fuck down. This motherfucker is crazy. Can one of y'all please just come stay at my house for a couple weeks in case he stopped by? And what she says next doesn't make me feel any better. Apparently, she knows this motherfucker is crazy. He was a crazy fucking kid. He went crazy when his first baby mama broke up with him. He even went so far as to send pornographic pictures of his baby mama to her mother. That's all she was willing to say. Because apparently he did shit that was a lot fucking worse. Shortly after, I discovered Buddhism. And I'm able to keep my shit together. Because I can't change a lot of this shit that I'm experiencing right now. But I can change my perspective. And I'm able to keep it together until our emergency hearing in July. I had a court date set up, but now that I'm being evicted and my utilities are being cut off, we get an emergency hearing. And I'm there with receipts. Text messages from the landlord. Text messages from asshole. Conversations asshole done had with people that love me. A letter from St. Vincent de Paul showing that they paid my electric bill. And all the photos and videos from asshole's romantic Colombian vacation. It's like he forgot his own lie. Because now he was denying that he ever cheated on me. I was the cheater. And he didn't know what was going on in mediation. He didn't even know what we were talking about. He didn't even know what he signed. He was a victim. He couldn't even pay all that money. His lawyer testified he only made $2,500 a month. But like I said, I have the receipts. But did I say I had the receipts? And that includes a W-2 from the year prior, showing that his trucking company grossed over $500,000 and he owes $26,000 in taxes. Guess what happens next? Now, when a man like asshole has no pride, they have no shame. And asshole was very eager to share his girlfriend on Instagram. So we had timestamps, pictures and videos that were available to the public with very explicit captions that he admitted to writing. And this next part I'm about to tell you will forever live rent-free in my head. Now, I told you he ain't got no original thoughts, right? So there's a picture of him and his girlfriend out at dinner, and she's straddling his lap. So my lawyer asked him if he ever had sex with her. And of course, he says no. They're just friends. Then he asked asshole if he posted the caption. And he admits that he did. Y'all, it's the fucking lyrics to All I Need by Method Man. And I'm mad because I fucking love this song. But he reads the fucking lyrics and his stupid ass is rapping it. He gets into the shit. Never give my pussy away and keep it tight, alright? I swear to God, the fucking bailiff starts laughing. And then his lawyer gets really serious and acts like that's the biggest goddamn distraction because they don't have no fucking case. She already lied about how much money he makes and everything else. On top of admitting that he could afford to take off work for 6 weeks to go out of the country to learn Spanish, leaving behind his wife, 3-year-old twins, 1-year-old daughter, and infant son. And his homeboys co-signed that shit. Even when some of them reached out to me to see how I was doing. But the judge ain't see it like that. And according to Georgia law, now that the court is aware we're getting a divorce, he has to pay child support. $1,000 a month for each child, and $500 a month in alimony for me. And he has to pay my attorney's fees. Now, didn't this motherfucker just say I'd never get a dime from his ass? Lie together, cry together. I swear to God, I hope we fucking die together. Hey! So the judge gives us a date in August to submit all the discovery paperwork by. And of course, my shit is submitted. Assholes is not. He don't do it the next month, or the month after that, or the one after that, the one after that either. So in February of 2020, my lawyer files a motion. Because the asshole is dragging this out. My lawyer is assuring me that this is okay. Because I'm receiving a high support amount. My lawyer is also $350 fucking an hour. And I need him to fuck off the payroll immediately. I just want to get divorced. Let it be what it's going to be, but I don't want to draw this shit out. Because now asshole is randomly texting me that he wants to see the kids. I ain't got time for this shit. So now we have a court date in September of 2020 because asshole didn't complete the paperwork that was due August 2019. And apparently he ain't have long enough to fucking complete it. Because the judge still gives him another 30 fucking days. And he still don't complete it. Then a couple months later, the discovery paperwork is submitted. He has a new lawyer now. Because me and my lawyer saw his ass cuss the first one out after the emergency hearing in July. Fine. Then we get a final hearing date of April 1st. And then I say some shit. I said something like, April Fools? What a joke. It's almost like the universe is telling me that this shit isn't gonna happen. April 1st rolls around and we're ready. I have 84 pieces of evidence. Because whenever I would confront asshole about some shit he was doing, he would lie to my fucking face. So I stopped confronting him, but kept the receipts. But guess what the fuck happens? My bad, y'all. Life be lifing. But you know I can't leave you hanging. Yes, April 1st, 2021. A day I will never motherfucking forget. So we're having court virtually because COVID. And I go first. So my lawyer's asking me questions first, and then asshole's old stupid bitch ass punk pussy ass motherfucking lawyer. I'm not the part of the story yet where I start to detest this man. But we gonna get there. Anyway, so his funky ass shit eating lawyer interrupts to say that our youngest child does not belong to my ex-husband. And the judge is like, oh really? Do y'all want a paternity test? Because I need to know. So they go off camera and come right the fuck back to say they don't want a paternity test. So my lawyer continues. Then this old fuckhead ass lawyer gonna say that we can't talk about how we ended up in mediation. There was something about there being a lawyer present and it was already ruled on. And the judge agrees. My lawyer is fucking pissed. And I am too, but not as bad as him. So the judge allows both parties to go off camera for a bit. And my lawyer explains to me that asshole is now gonna say that we were both just cheating on each other. And we've been together the entire time. And the fact that I'm a grown-ass woman that don't lie on her pussy and was never ashamed of that good-ass dick I got, yeah, that's going to be used against me. So my lawyer's talking about he going to have to prepare another case. And I'm like, the fuck? You got all the evidence? Let's just finish this shit today, please. Sir, you've been doing this shit longer than I've been alive. I have all the confidence in the world that this man will be able to successfully navigate this change of events. So we come back. And the judge is like, hey, what you want to do? Either way, we're not going to be done with this shit today. Apparently, she had to decide the fate of murderers and shit after lunch. Fuck! My witness is waiting off camera to testify and everything. Shit got canceled. An hour into the shit. Mind you, at this point, I owe my lawyer like 20 bands. And he talking about preparing another case? And that's when I realized something. Having my day in court to present all the fucking evidence was not that motherfucking important to me no more. I need my motherfucking piece. And my coin. Now, mind you, we have been sending asshole settlement offers this entire time. And he would say no or nothing at all. Surprise, surprise. But on April 2nd, he had an offer for me. And y'all, the conversation was so fucking ridiculous. You know I had to record it. You remember that paternity test he told the judge he ain't want yesterday? Well, now he wants it. And he wants me and the kids to move to Colombia closer to him and his bitch. He's going to pay the airfare. And he's going to pay me $3,000 a month in child support. And that's like $9,000 a month in Colombian pesos. Who's gonna say no to that? Bitch. Rejected. So I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna get on with my life. I'd already planned on being divorced in April, and I had shit lined up for the month of May. And on May 2nd, 2021, our fucking wedding anniversary, I get a call at 4 a.m. that my grandfather passed away. And Facebook is like, do you remember this day last year? And the year before that? And the year before that? I permanently fucking deleted that Facebook page. Y'all, I am completely devastated by the loss of my grandfather. And of all fucking days, I can't even make sense of it. And I don't even have time to mourn. My granddaddy passed on the 2nd. I went back to St. Louis. We buried him on the 9th. I drove back home that Sunday in the fucking rain, which was Mother's Day, 11 hours back to Georgia. And I had to have everybody off to school and be back home by 8 a.m. because I signed up for a 2-week real estate course that was taking place that Monday. But I'm a Capricorn with a Taurus moon, baby. We love to distract ourselves with work. So I had a mental breakdown at lunch every day for 2 weeks. And I still passed all my exams on the first try. And I was the first in my class to get their real estate license. So I was really happy with myself. But my lawyer was not. Because that money I was paying him every month is what I was using for my license, my fees, childcare for 2 weeks. And he wanted his motherfucking money. And I had every intention on giving it to him. Then I got a sinking feeling in my stomach. If my lawyer represented me, he was going to make sure the asshole paid for health care and education for the kid. All of these things that he didn't value. And according to Georgia law, I could still get half of his shit. He was going to feel like he lost. And I think this was around the time that black men kept going on Facebook Live after they killed their baby mamas for sympathy. And they was fucking getting it. And we matched the fucking profile. And that's when I decided I was going to represent my motherfucking self. Because I know how to play this shit. I don't need everything from this motherfucker. In my mind, I'm going to be rich as fuck anyway. Can't nobody convince me otherwise either. I'm going to just need enough to be able to make it until then. So finally, we get a date for mediation the last week of January. And I go in there and I do the damn thing. I get everything I asked for and then some. The judge emailed me and told me I could use him for a reference if I ever wanted to go to law school. And don't think I ain't going to do it, Judge Schuster. But when I get the final order, something is off. This document is saying that I agreed to equal responsibility for previous tax returns. And remember when I told you he owed $26,000 for his taxes in 2018? Well, bitch, the IRS had been fucking with me ever since because he filed married filing jointly. I already had an active innocent spouse claim. And I used the temporary order that we got from the emergency hearing in July 2019 in my defense. So I wasn't about to sign this shit to fuck that up. So I emailed his crafty fuckface lawyer, not thinking it was going to be a big deal. But he told me to sign the document or he was going to sue me for attorney's fees for enforcing the order without my signature. And we not even at the part where I really started to hate this man. I don't hate him no more. I prayed on it. But bitch. So I consult one of my friends that's an attorney for help. And he tells me the only thing I can do now is hire another family attorney. As if I don't already fucking owe $20,000 to a fucking family attorney already. I was really thinking that this was gonna be the end. And for the first time, I'm feeling like it's not gonna get better. I am so sick of this shit. I just start crying and I can't stop. I was trying my best to really suppress mourning my grandfather. But everything I've been feeling for the past 3 years just came up and I could not put a cap on it. So I tried to get some help. Then shit really got bad. So I ended up calling the hotline. And before I know it, I got 2 women in my living room telling me they can give me help. They're telling me this treatment requires a mandatory 72-hour stay. And I don't know nobody who's going to want to be a single mom of 4 kids for 72 hours. And these sitters cost too damn much. I can't afford that shit either. So I tell them, fuck it. I just stay home. Then they tell me they can take the kids to CPS. That this will be treated like any other medical emergency. Like if I got into a car accident, my kids would be placed with CPS until next of kin came. That was a real easy fuck nah. My kids ain't going to no fucking CPS. So they asked me about the dad. Ugh. Now, something I gotta mention. In mediation, there was another change of events. All of a sudden, my ex-husband doesn't want to abandon the kids and move to Colombia with his girlfriend. I guess it's trouble in paradise. But apparently, he got an SUV. He got his own place. And this motherfucker did not have his own car or a place to live when I fucking met him. I don't know who the fuck this is. And of course, when you tell people, they like, oh, that's so good. Believing that this man has grown, that he's changing, that he's learning, which people can do. But I don't care. I know he ain't shit. But I did agree to joint legal custody of the kids, with tie-breaking authority on all fucking issues, of course. And now he's going to do the regular dad thing and get the kids every other weekend. So they encourage me to call asshole. And I tell them no. You talk to him. I'm thinking it might go over better if he's talking to a professional. So after waiting a little bit, he calls back. And he's on board. He's going to pay for a babysitter to stay overnight, and then he'll get the kids on the weekend. Cool. So I stop by the twins' school first to let them know what's going on. And I assure them that no matter what, we're going to be together. And mommy is going to be okay. So they take me to the hospital first, just in case my insurance doesn't help cover the visit. Several hours later, I go across the street to the mental health building. I meet with the psychiatrist, and she wants to know if I can identify my stressors. And after talking with her, she diagnoses me with depression and PTSD. And she says she wishes that she would have saw me in the hospital because she would have gave me some antidepressants and sent me home. I need to be at home with my kids, and I don't belong in a facility. So fuck the 72-hour hold. She tells me to call my ride because I'm going to be released at 11 a.m. the following morning. So I call asshole and ask him to send me the address of where I can pick up the kids the next day. And he tells me he's in Florida. Okay, send me an address where I need to pick up the kids in Florida. And he says no. The kids live in Florida with him now. Huh? He can't give me the judge's name or share the document with me. But apparently his lawyer scheduled an emergency hearing earlier that day. They granted asshole permission to take the kids to Florida. And now that he had custody, he didn't have to pay child support. If I thought I was having a hard fucking time before. But thank you, God, for antidepressants. So of course, I ask him for his attorney's number and he gives it to me. I leave the lawyer countless messages and, spoiler alert, he never fucking returns my calls. And that's why I'm gonna call this bitch out his name every time I fucking refer to him. Follow me for the next part. When I come home the next morning and turn on my phone, asshole's the first person to call me. He tells me that the judge agrees that he should keep the kids for 4 weeks and they should spend another 4 weeks with a nanny. And I'm trying to figure out why the fuck my kids should spend 4 weeks with a fucking stranger that does not love them. They have a mom. But according to my ex-husband, they don't need a mom because he can use that money that he spent on child support for a nanny. Mind you, my ex-husband has never had a mother and he doesn't think our kids need one either. For the next 2 weeks, my friends show up and show out for me. I could not even bring myself to say what I needed the money for, but I told them that I needed $5,000 and it's really important. And they gave me whatever they had. And before I knew it, I had another lawyer. So my ex-husband is letting me talk to the kids, but he won't tell me where they are. And eventually he gets them an iPad. And they call me crying, asking to come home. They don't like the food they're being fed. The twins miss their school and their friends and their teachers. They miss their toys. They are begging me to pick them up, and they don't understand why I can't. And I explain to them what's going on the best way I know how. And I promise them that they're going to come home. They just have to be patient. And it's really, really, really important that they look out for their baby brother. The twins know that their father does not like their baby brother. When all the kids would run to the phone to talk to their dad, he always made a point to never say anything to our youngest child. My baby boy turned 3 away from home with his dad. And there wasn't a cake. There were no balloons. There were no gifts. And there never had been his entire life. One year, he accidentally bought my daughter 2 ride-on unicorns. The twins got remote-controlled cars, and baby boy got nothing. And if he cried because he missed mommy, daddy probably wouldn't understand. As unfair as it was, I need the twins to grow up fast. Like, right now. Please help mommy. And they wanted to help me any way that they could. Eventually, his twins started school, and I didn't even know where the fuck it was at. So they told me the name of their school, the name of their teachers, and I couldn't find it. And then one day, a simple question changes everything. So one of the twins asked me if I remember my high school mascot. And I'm like, yeah, we were the Warriors. And he says I'll probably want to go to his school because they're the Wildcats. Is that your school mascot, sweetheart? Let mommy call you back. And I still can't find this fucking school. Then I remember they daddy is a motherfucking liar. They might not even be in fucking Florida. And what do you know? I find the school. The kids are in Winston, Georgia. 12 motherfucking miles from my house. Bitch, I'm there within the fucking hour. I got my driver's license, the twins' birth certificates, and my lease for my house with their names on it. I am the twins' mom. Now, because asshole ain't put my name on shit, I can't even see them. And I expected that. So I brought with me their gemstone necklaces that I bought them one year for their birthday, and I asked the principal to pass them on for me. But legally, I could get their transcript. At this point, I hadn't hugged or kissed my babies in over a month. And according to this transcript, they were enrolled in February shortly after their dad fucking picked them up from my house. Follow me if you want to know how this ends. She uploaded part 12, y'all. Now, as we were, just like I thought, asshole ain't say shit about these boys coming home with big ass gemstones around their necks. But when the twins FaceTime me later, they done figured out I'm an international super spy. Well, now that you done figured out my secret, don't blow my cover. Act like everything is normal. But you ain't in Florida. You're 20 minutes from home, and I'm gonna bring you home real soon. So I call my lawyer and email her the twins' transcripts. Now we can prove alienation. Apparently, asshole lied to everybody that he was in Florida. Even his old crafty, shitty booty lawyer. Now it's documented that I haven't seen my kids in a month because their dad is a fucking liar. And I'm not playing a game of tit for tat. I have proof that every time this man has said he wanted to see these kids in the past 3 years, I sent them with food and a change of clothes. A free babysitter. Cool. But my lawyer thinks we should try to reach a compromise before we take it straight to court. So while asshole is away 7 days of the week, and my kids are with a complete stranger, around the corner from home, they can come home on the weekends, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., no overnights, and no, I cannot visit my 3 and 4-year-old children that aren't in daycare during the week. And this is how it's gonna go until we get in front of the judge, whenever the fuck that is. So at least I can see the kids that weekend. But after the twins have a mental breakdown when it's time to go back to their dad's house, I tell the lawyer this ain't good enough. And basically she tells me I fucked up. So apparently if you're a woman that's dealing with several legitimate stressors at once, like death, divorce, debt, and you're self-aware enough to ask for help, do not expect grace if you are Black and have limited resources. Now all of a sudden I have to undergo all these expensive ass tests and evaluations to show that I am safe for my own kids. And at the same time, y'all done gave my kids to somebody who don't think or feel shit, who's been medicated his entire adolescence for mental health issues. And this shit is 100% legal, so apparently it makes sense to somebody, but not me. But this whole fucking thing ain't making sense to me. Now I know for some of you, this is just a story. I find some sort of satisfaction from admitting that I married and had children with a fucking narcopath that beats the fuck out of puppies, who might be on the spectrum, all because of a dream that I had when I was 15. I mean, the gag could be that I'm lying or telling the fucking truth. Either way, this is what the fuck happened next. A lot of people don't believe certain clair abilities like clairvoyance, claircognizance, or clairsentience are real things. And there are very few people that you can talk to about this kind of thing. People don't believe you at first, and because seeing is believing for them and not the other way around like it is for us, now they scared, and they ain't nothing but the devil. Prime example, I have a couple videos stitched on my page right now of me with a celebrity tarot reader. When Kelly Price was reported missing by her family, she recorded a video saying Kelly Price had died. And a few days later, Kelly Price released an interview saying that she died. Show Me RN on YouTube, Just in Time Tarot on Facebook, Chicken Nettie on TikTok. But the Dark Witch told me that I fucked up. And I need to call on Jesus. Baby, she had me in the word, okay? The next video is the finale, y'all. Part 13, let's go. So I run the whole thing back for the witch, right? I tell her about the prayer, the dream, the twins, my granddaddy who gave his blessing for my hand in marriage, dying on our wedding anniversary right after the divorce gets pushed back for no fucking reason. Like, what is my life right now? Because the twins were 7 in my dream and everything was great. But now that they're 7 in real life, everything's fucked up. How did this happen? And basically, the witch tells me that I fucked up. Oh, God. I'm just so happy I can laugh about this shit now. Y'all, when she said that shit, I had no words. Apparently, I summoned up too many different spirits before I said that prayer, so I would never know who gave me that vision of asshole and the twins or why. But she said if Jesus had been working out for me, I need to go back to Jesus. Now, I thought she was going to give me a spell or something. Now, she did give me a little piece of divorce spell. Don't give me the line. But according to her, the Holy Bible is the biggest spell book there is. Any spell I would need for protection is already written in there. Y'all, I don't know if the math is mathing or not, but I'm listening. Because now she sounds like my grandma. And I low-key turned into my grandma. I'm walking around my house, praying in every room. I'm anointing all my kids' pictures with oil, using their name in the scripture like my grandma taught me. So one of the scriptures that she recommended was the prayer of a good person. And Jesus knows my heart, and he gonna handle this for me. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing. So I let go and let God. And eventually we get a court date. So now it's May of 2022. We all meeting at the courthouse. And I don't have any of those evaluations that my lawyer asked for. I couldn't afford them. All my money was for bills, food, and vendor fees. Because I was all over Atlanta slinging candles, making ends meet, child. Because I was not about to sell no ass. Turns out, I wouldn't need them anyway. The judge chooses to enforce the order from mediation back in January, with the amendments that I asked for. So now I'm not being held liable for asshole's tax debt. And I even got an extra $600. Asshole was ordered to give me back my MacBook Air back in July 2019. And he never did it because he just had to keep lying and saying he ain't have it. So I got $600 for the depreciated value. Cool. My babies come home and my divorce is finalized in June of 2022. Now, y'all know I negotiated me a few $1,000s or whatever, right? So I paid all my friends back. My first lawyer ended up settling with me. Got him paid off. Asshole gets the paternity test that he wanted. So now it's documented that he's 99.9999% the father of these kids that he had in his marriage with his wife. Yeah, big fucking surprise. But even with that and court order visitation every other weekend, asshole actually doesn't give a fuck about fatherhood or children. So I don't get a free babysitter twice a month. But on the plus side, I don't have to co-parent with him. It all worked out. I'm not mad. I'm not blaming nobody. I wake up every morning in the spirit of gratitude. Everything that was meant to break me has strengthened me. Or made me a fucking coin. So don't worry about me and the kids. Don't go around hating nobody for me. I am at peace, and I want peace for you too. I get this question a lot, and I definitely understand why. Since I was 24 years old, I had completely devoted my life to motherhood. To just wake up one day to an empty house with no kids and not know where they were or when they were coming back. Everything about that felt like a mistake. And I don't mind being the prime example of what not to do, especially if that helps the next woman. Up until that point, things with me and asshole weren't necessarily bad. Whenever he would randomly text me that he was stopping by Atlanta and he wanted to see the kids, I would drop them off and pick them up. No problem. And I never aired him out or told his girlfriend about him, nothing like that. And a week before he took the kids, I agreed to him having joint legal custody and getting the kids every other weekend. So no part of me believed that if I asked this man to watch the kids for the weekend, just so I could mourn the death of the man that he asked for my hand in marriage, I wouldn't see my kids for 3 months. But that's exactly what the fuck happened. What's possible for me is possible for you too, so be careful. If I would have known that, I would have made a different choice. But this wasn't really about trusting asshole. I just knew that I needed help, and this is how I got it. I've been going through a lot of shit for a long time. And all of a sudden, I had the time, the space, the resources to really work through it. And I realized that I lost myself in motherhood. And I had to get back in touch with me. And probably the biggest blessing came from asshole himself. Now my children had the opportunity to meet their father and create some core memories. He did me the biggest favor because I will never have to tell my kids who he is. I will never have to explain his lack of integrity. I will never have to convince my kids that he doesn't want peace and harmony with me. I will never have to convince them that he will abuse any power that he's given, or anybody else for that matter. It's documented now. But as painful as that experience was, I did gain a lot from it. And when my kids came home in May, that's when I knew for sure that I made the right choice. They came back home to a happier mom. I wasn't suppressing a bunch of shit anymore. I was growing my business, networking. I was making new friends, working out. No matter what, I just kept acting in my best interest. Everything worked out how it was supposed to. But if you're going through a divorce and you need a mental break, don't tell that man shit. You hear me? They don't love your baby like you do. And they do not mind using your babies as collateral damage. I don't know if we need to get an organization together or what. But please do not trust your soon-to-be ex-husband. Take it from me.